Shut guys, welcome to another gardening video on my channel. Another video, we're back at it. Today we're going to be talking about how to protect your garden against frost, against the cold, against the winter in general. I hope you enjoy. Let's do what it gotta do. So the first tip that I would give, and I would say is the most important, is to grow cold hardy crops, right? The ones that can tolerate the cold, that can tolerate the frost. We have an example. Look at the grapes. Grapes can't tolerate the cold, and you can see that they are starting to brown. You know, they're starting to die off. The leaves are coming off. However, if you look on the other side, we have peas and we have lettuce that are growing perfectly well. You know, they're growing really nicely, and these ones can tolerate the frost. They can tolerate the cold. So first one, just grow plants that do really well in the cold. And I've done a video that details all of the crops that you can grow in winter and the ones that you can grow in July as well. So yeah, check that out. Then the next tip is the plant placement. So where do you place your plants, right? So one of the advice that I can give is don't place plants in frost pockets or low-lying areas, because these basically create a crater, if I can even call it that. They create like a hole that attracts a lot of the frost to create more holes of cold areas, which you don't want to have, right? Another tip is that you can keep it in north facing walls, because these walls basically they absorb the heat during the day and then they release this heat at night. So those would be my advice in terms of the placement. Okay, so another tip is that you can start your seeds indoors, right? This way you can control the temperature of the room that they're in, and you can control how much water they get. You can control all of these variables that you maybe won't be able to if you are in cold areas without any rainfall, right? The next tip, which is closely aligned with this, is harden off your seedlings, right? So basically, instead of just taking the ones that you grew indoors and then taking them and then planting them directly into the soil, so that will be a shock to the actual plant. So instead of doing that, harden off the plant by bringing them outdoors sometimes, you know, maybe during the day, just making them acclimated to the temperature and the changes in temperature, right? Instead of first just putting them into the ground, because they will get a shock and they are very likely to then die off quicker. Okay, then we have simple tips covering the actual plants, covering them with sheets, blankets. There's frost sheets that you can use as well, that make sure that during the night they do not get so cold, because the problem is the night time when the temperatures actually drop. So definitely getting a sheet before it gets to nighttime, protecting them during the night would be perfect. Same thing, same principle with the next tip is mulching. You can see here there's just a bunch of mulch, and I've told you guys I don't know how many times on my channel, mulch. Mulching protects the soil. It keeps the warmth in, it retains moisture, it gives back nutrients as well. It does so many things. It would be wrong if you didn't do it. Okay, so mulching, and you can do this with compost, you can do this with wood ash. I even have, let me show you. So basically we also have some wood ash here that I'm just going to rake and integrate it within the soil, and that's also going to protect the garden as well. And you can see here we have a compost bin, so we're also creating our own compost that we're going to lay on top of the soil. So yeah, the best method is, especially if you have young seedlings, just basically put the compost or whatever mulch that you have, could even be rocks, whatever you have, and just place them around the plant. I would suggest that you just place it on top of the soil, of the topsoil, and then just place it on top of that, and just, you know, keep it warm. Basically just cover it like a blanket. So this tip, actually, this one blew me by surprise actually, and this one is probably the one that gets me the most excited, gets me jazzed up. But basically, get plastic water jugs or even just normal water jugs, fill them with warm water, or you can put them just in normal water and then put them during the day, right? So you need the water to be warm. So either you place them in warm water or you place the water during the day so that it warms up. Yeah, and then place them by your plants, right? And then at night, basically, it will then warm water will warm up the plants that you have in your garden. Fantastic, right? I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. So when you have some sort of heat or warmth, it does magic for the plants. So I try that out. See, let me know how that goes. Another tip is to water before you actually get frost, right? And this can be anytime. I wouldn't just subject it just to when you're about to get frost. I would say even in the mornings when you get the frost, then you can water. So basically, moist soil retains heat or warmth better than dry soil. So let's say, for example, in the mornings you have frost, right? Let's say you water in the morning before it gets too hot and it's in that midday heat. You water in there. By the daytime, or that soil is going to absorb that heat because it's moist now, right? Instead of if you have dry soil. So if you have the moist soil, it's going to capture all of that heat. It's going to capture all of that heat, and then in the night, then it will also keep that heat, or it will keep it better than it would if the soil was still dry, right? So what I would say is water in the mornings, and then when it gets to that 12 o'clock, when the heat, then you'll see that there's still the moisture in the soil, and then during the night it will still be able to keep that heat that was transmitted during the day. I hope you understood. If you didn't understand, just comment, man, and shout at me and say, Karaba, you didn't explain. Okay, all right, good. Next tip is overwintering. So basically, overwintering, this is if you are in really, really cold areas, and basically you would take your plants, the ones that can be transplanted out. So let's say, for example, cauliflower, right? You can take that out, put it into a pot, and basically put it in a level heat. I would probably say you see somewhere where you see on top of these banisters, so that it's still not touching the soil and it still has some heat. And also, obviously, you can also keep them indoors until it gets warmer. Then I would say for the last one, keep the plants together. Group them together. As you can see, these ones, they're not too far from each other, especially these guys, they have some warmth with each other. Basically, this creates an ecosystem that they can just bounce off heat off of each other, so that they're not too cold, at times, and they don't get too frustrated with the cold. So yeah, that's my last tip. Keep them together. Keep your plants all together, group them together, make them all happy. Yeah guys, so that will be the end of the video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it achieved all your goals that you wanted for this video. I love you guys all, man. Love, peace, grow every say it with me. Say it with me. Grow every, I'm not gonna finish it. Sharp.